And China is pushing back against the United States after President Trump accused the country of violating a May 12th trade agreement. In a statement Monday, China's Commerce Ministry says the Trump administration undermined the temporary deal by issuing control guidelines on artificial intelligence exports, as well as halting the sale of chip software to China and threatening to revoke Chinese student visas. On Face the Nation Sunday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said he is confident the situation will be diffused when the two leaders speak directly.
I am confident that when President Trump and Party Chairman Xi have a call, that this will be ironed out. But the fact that they are withholding some of the products that they agreed to release during our agreement, maybe it's a glitch in the Chinese system, maybe it's intentional.
The CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Jo Ling Kent joins us now. And Jo Ling, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters on Monday that President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping will likely talk sometime this week. So what is behind these recent accusations from both sides? Could they potentially derail a tentative trade agreement?
Anything is possible. In my experience covering China from inside Beijing for so many years, what we do know about the Chinese side is they like things to be ironed out, the details organized before they get to the presidential level. So in talks like these, it's very important to the Chinese side that things are figured out and organized. We do know President Trump to be more of an off-the-cuff negotiator in situations like this. It's clear with his tariffs that there's been a lot of back and forth, even here on the domestic side of these trade agreements that they're attempting to negotiate. But we do know that the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that he is confident that a conversation between the two leaders is coming very soon. But this is certainly a very complicated time. We're in the middle of this 90-day pause between the U.S. and China and those higher tariffs. And a lot of businesses feel caught in the crosshairs. Small business owners are telling us, look, we're looking for certainty, not more uncertainty. So as companies try to plan for consumers, for shoppers, and for spending money throughout this summer into the holiday season, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, Nancy.
And Jo Ling, in other tariff news, shares of major U.S. steel companies, they soared on Monday in response to President Trump's 50% tariff on that industry. So is that rally expected to last, given the back and forth when it comes to U.S. tariff policy these days?
It's really hard to know what will happen. There is so much volatility in the market, but certainly those steelmakers had a positive reaction in the market today, investors liking that news. But if I had a crystal ball, I would love to share. I don't, so it's hard to know exactly what will come next. A lot of this, of course, is predicated on what comes out of the White House and then, of course, how the other countries react to this situation. And so that's why, going back to the China story, there's so much emphasis placed on every single word that's coming from the Chinese side, say the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce there, versus the White House here.
Yeah, if only we had that crystal ball. Also on Monday, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell gave an update on U.S. monetary policy. Take a listen.
We remain fully committed to the 2% target today. In the current review, the committee is engaged in discussions about what we have learned from the experience of the past 5 years. We plan to complete consideration of specific changes to the consensus statement in coming months.
So, Jo Ling, what type of changes could we see? And with the release of new CPI data expected June 15th, what can we expect the Fed to do with interest rates both at its meeting in June and really for the rest of 2025?
Chair Powell and the entire FOMC, they have two priorities. It's the labor market and it's inflation. So they will be looking at the consumer price index very closely to look for any signs of how tariffs and how broader consumer spending, sentiment, and confidence are impacting those numbers and what it means for prices overall. And so as we look ahead to the July Fed meeting, or the June Fed meeting, I should say, we're not expecting, the Fed Watch tool from CME is not expecting any sort of movement on interest rates. So if you're looking to get into the housing market or you're looking to lower the interest rate, say on credit cards or a car loan, unfortunately, it's unlikely that you will see anything change on that front. But, Chair Powell will be, speaking to reporters again, will be there when it comes to answering kind of the question of what happens with interest rates, how is it possible for people to continue to afford borrowing at such high levels, and what it does to the economy writ large, especially with all of the uncertainty around tariffs, Nancy.
Jo Ling Kent, thank you very much.